Welcome back, guys. Today we are going to go over the new cards coming to JP, and there's a bit of information here that I think you guys will find exciting. As always, we got a bunch of new information, mainly on the SS4 Goku. We know who's in his category now, and we can already say that it's going to be definitely a truly broken and upper tier category. For the full power category, we weren't sure who was going to be in it, but now that we do, we got some good options. Let me tell you, this category is going to be pretty sought after. Obviously, while running the SS4 Goku lead as the full power lead, you're probably going to be aiming at, and this is my preliminary like top tier team looking idea here. You're probably going to be pulling this Vegeta for sure with the transformation. Likely LR Broly, LR SS3 Goku, or the Agility one, depending on which one you have. You could throw in the Angel Golden Frieza down here, but more than likely, when it comes to the links, you probably won't be using him. You could be using LR Gohan, but with that many LRs on the team, you'll probably be suffering for Ki. So you're going to need Omega probably as a substitute for one of these LRs, likely Broly because he links probably the worst. Or SS3 Goku because he's terrible with that as 18 Ki super and it might be difficult to get that off. I think you'll probably have 2 out of those 3 LRs. I don't think you'll have all 3 on the same team if you wanted to run well. But you'll definitely need some support units, likely along the lines of this Super Vegeta, which is a great support, as well as this Kale, which came out not too long ago. Both those cards would fit pretty well. I guess you could use Cell, but I guess the other issue again is going to be links. If you want this team to run the best, you're likely going to be running all Saiyan characters, is my guess. You can probably make a villain rotation out of it between, say, Bojack or Cell and Frieza, somewhere along those lines. But my guess is you probably will be doing mostly Saiyans for this category. Granted, I think Omega is probably the most likely villain to make it onto this team given the GT link with Goku. You can probably have one rotation as Goku and this Omega, as well as Goku and another Saiyan character that you want him to link with, probably Vegeta. But anyway, guys, moving on to some other interesting characters that got added. The first one I want to start with is the TUR versions of the Angel Frieza GT and the Angel Cell, which is really unexpected. Basically, this entire update is giving both the full power category as well as the Omega Shadow Dragon art category a nice buff. Some interesting things are going to be this new Frieza, and I'll go over him in a second, as well as this new Cell, because apparently they are the best friends for each other. And going over their translation, let me scroll down here to the Cell and the Frieza. So one of them seals, it's going to be Cell, seals super attack, as well as his passive, which is just downright strange, to be honest. I should probably go over to the TUR version of Cell. There he is. But he seals super, he gets an attack and defense 80% buff, and if the enemy is stunned, 100% attack to deal super effective damage to all types. So this man gets a 100% buff and a Gogeta passive if the enemy is stunned, which is ridiculous. And if you swap it around and have Cell seal and Frieza go second, then you got a medium chance to, well, Frieza has a medium chance to stun, but his passive is, if the enemy is sealed, 100% up. What's likely going to happen if you have these two on the same rotation is you're probably going to want to have Cell first, because the sealing is guaranteed, whereas the stun is not. That way, your Frieza can at least get the 100% buff and super effective to all damage, to all types. So, my guess is Cell first, Frieza second, you'll get the guaranteed buff. Unless your enemy's already stunned from the previous turn, and then from another character, I guess. That's the only thing I could think of. But if stunning is not necessary for your survival for that turn in the first slot, that's probably what you're going to be doing with these two. I find these two to be kind of interesting. I've never seen them make cards that complement each other this well, I feel like. They're definitely made for each other overall. One thing I haven't really taken a look of is this new Goku that surprisingly does not transform, to be honest. But he deals immense damage and greatly lowers defense. Oh, the other thing I didn't mention is these two do supreme damage, which is, I could have gone for immense, but for non-Dokkan cards, that's, I guess, kind of typical. But the Goku does immense damage when launching super attack up 120%, which is an amazing buff, and defense up 30. There's only one enemy, key +3. So the passive restriction on the one enemy for once is not something that makes or breaks the card. He doesn't need that 3 key. It just helps. Thank God they put the best part of his passive not behind that restriction. At 120% buff is absolutely great. I can't imagine a better passive for a card of that caliber. His links are the best, but obviously he's got GT, which if you're using him, you're probably using him on a Shadow Dragons or full power, not full power team. You'll be using him on the Omega team, which all has GT anyway. So that actually works out really well. And then we get this new strength. Ooh, that link is not working. Can't tell if that was a one-time thing. No, it's not. I actually had him pulled up earlier. Let me go grab him real quick. I couldn't actually find him on DBZ Dokkan. I don't know if they got put in weird or what. But regardless, I don't know that there's anything too terribly great. He's a good defensive unit. After attack up 70%. Not too much value there, I don't feel like, out of the androids, so I'm not really going to talk about them too much. The other mega thing that came out is obviously going to be the Intelligence LR Meta Cooler, which I believe is... where'd he go? There he is. He seems to be a free-to-play LR given by his cost and the fact that he has no TUR or SSR form, implying that he's given through a reward of some type that we will find out soon, I'm sure. Obviously the typical Mega Colossal damage on 18 key. Raises extreme type allies by attack by 30% for 1 turn, which is really good. So you'll want to have him attacking in the first slot, and then anyone that comes after him obviously gets the buff, which is really nice. The higher HP, the more attack and defense, max of 90% that he has. Additional attack up to 2 times with high probability, with a rare chance of launching a super attack. So he's basically a mix of different cards that we've seen. He's kind of reminiscent of LR Vegito Blue in the sense of his leader skill as well as kind of his HP buff here. But anyway, he gets an additional attack, which you've kind of seen up to 2 times, which we've seen with, say, Tech Vegito Blue. Rare chance to super attack is kind of disappointing. Could be better. His links are actually really good for villains team, so you can make some really good villains teams. I think what they're trying to do is kind of imply to us that the LR Cooler lead goes really well with these two. So it'd be really interesting to see them all 3 together, I think. But anyway, guys, let me know what you think of the new cards in the comments down below. How busted do you think the full power category is? I think this is a great category, and I think Omega got a much needed buff to his category with all these new cards as well. You can actually run the SS4 Full Power Goku on Omega's team, which is awesome. I think alongside the Strength version, but don't at me on that one. Anyway, guys, I've been your host, Luban. Thank you so much for watching and joining me for a bit. I will catch you guys in the next one. Have a good day, guys.